You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Since 96, MLS has been the youngest soccer league. From 10 teams to 30, playoffs and parity. Battered MLS bring local guests to cover games. Analysis firsthand, not Google like other lames. Stats and recaps cover the West and East. Can't forget, we're on Sean Johnson, watch every week. DPs for the elite, Tam Gam get you the vets. Playoff trees as American as it gets. It's time to turn off the world, grab a drink and let's go. We're Battered MLS fans, so lock in on the show. Battered MLS fans, so lock in on the show.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Battered fans are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 78 of the Battered MLS Fans Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Grana, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
This was a lot funner than anticipated. Like, the MLS 360 is the first time I've ever watched it. One of the most entertaining things. I mean, maybe because all the games are on at the same time.
Well, shout out. I tried it out once. I wasn't a huge fan, but that was like last season or when it had just first started. And there's no way to make it like the Red Zone channel, right? Because the Red Zone channel, you're literally in the Red Zone, so you know when to switch over. But Chris told me just now before he started that he was watching it. He really loved it. So shout out to Apple. Whatever they're doing, I guess Chris is appreciating it, so maybe other people should give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, they go over. I mean, I think it might be a little delayed. So, like, after the goal scored, they jump over. And I guess they go to that moment. So, yeah.
All right, well, Decision Day has come and gone, and there was a lot of movement. Some teams dropped out of the playoffs. Some teams dropped from top 7, avoiding the playing game, to all of a sudden going away for their playing game. Like, it's a drama-filled day.
Yes.
But let's start with the biggest game of the day, and it was undoubtedly Atlanta United versus DC United. It was for the wooden spoon. If DC United would have won, Atlanta United, after their offseason victory this past offseason, would have ended up with the wooden spoon, but Atlanta ends up with a draw, which does one of two things. DC United scored, so they ended up with 30 goals for the season. So they beat Messi by 1 goal. So they outscored Messi, so good for them. And with the draw, also Atlanta avoided the wooden spoon. So good for both of them. Atlanta avoiding the golden spoon, and for DC avoiding scoring the same amount of goals as Messi did in 26 games.
And shout out to the DC Benteques, because you guys deserve that wooden spoon, like, wholeheartedly. And also, on a lighter note, shout out to Atlanta United enjoying seeing Brad Guzan start for the last time, because he is retiring. That's something I think we forgot to mention last episode. Really cool story. And
Absolutely. Shout out to Brad Guzan.
And yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. Atlanta had Brad Guzan start. Arthur Blank came down for the whole deal, so it was nice.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go over some of the scores, but instead of just talking about them, let me just share my screen here so I could put them up on screen so we could look at them together. So we started with the wooden spoon, obviously the biggest result. Charlotte beat Philadelphia. Now, Charlotte beating Philadelphia ended up working great for Charlotte, because that gave them the home field advantage against NYCFC in the first round. Now,
Yes.
The downfall there is that Zaha ended up getting a red card, I believe, pretty late in the game.
And it carries over. I looked into it. Yeah, so they lost Wilfred Zaha for the first game.
So,
and with Pep Biel with the issues, it's going to be a disaster.
I don't know at what minute he got. I think it was like in the 90th minute. I remember that was really late in the game. You're up by 2 goals at that point. I haven't seen the foul, but man, that's a rough way to lose one of, if not your best attacking player.
It was in the
playoff game.
It was in the 90th minute that he had the yellow card that obviously was the second that turned into a red card. So their midfield is Crow and Vargas, and that's it at this point. I mean, they got Baronico, but other than that, Pep Biel's not active right now. Wilfred Zaha with the red card carrying it over. he's not going to be there for the first game against NYCFC.
So that was brutal for them. So good luck to Charlotte hosting NYCFC without Zaha, but at least they're hosting. Cincinnati took care of business against Montreal, like most people expected them to. 3-0. They now have the second best record in the entire league, meaning the only team that they would have to travel to play against is Philadelphia. No matter who else they play, they are hosting, which is a great advantage. Now, what was interesting is that the way that they started, Cincinnati and Columbus were not set to play each other, but Columbus took care of business against New York, the Red Bulls. And then Orlando pooped the bed against Toronto, and Chicago ended up drawing against New England. Two horrible results. Chicago should be able to beat a team like New England. Yes. Orlando should not be letting Toronto score 4 times. And only they got their butt kicked by Toronto. And because of that, Columbus jumped from the 9th seed to the 7th seed. Now, why is that so important? Well, we have Hell is Real in the first round, best out of 3. That's probably going to be the best series of the first round. You have a legit rivalry. Hell is Real, best 2 out of 3, and it's between Cincinnati and Columbus. That ended up working out pretty nicely for the MLS, I would assume.
Well, and I think just from an Orlando City's perspective, you go into this game against Toronto and you're completely assuming you're walking away with the opposite of what the goal score was, right? That you'd be scoring so many goals and holding yourself higher, but like to just drop down to 9th place where you're like barely scraping into the playoffs, playing against Chicago for the play-in game. That's an embarrassment.
When the day started off, if they would have won, there was a chance that they ended up in 6th place, which would have put them against Miami in the first round.
Yep.
And they, with a chance to end up in 6th, they ended up in 9th place. They are going to be traveling away to Chicago for that one playing game on Wednesday, I believe it is. Man, Orlando surprised me at how far they've fallen off, because I really thought that Orlando was going to be one of the top 4 teams in the East. The way they were playing in the middle of the season, I'm surprised. And shout out to Orlando, Loud and Proud podcast and all that, because that's a tough way to end your year. We'll see. There's a chance that Orlando doesn't even make it to the first round of the playoffs. So that should be an interesting game, Chicago-Orlando.
Yeah, it will be.
And then the only interconference game, NYCFC-Seattle. Seattle took care of business. They beat NYCFC 2-1. So if we look at the bracket here on the eastern side, you see you have Cincinnati, Columbus, Miami, Nashville. If you were going to choose a winner, I think Miami hasn't lost to Nashville since Messi's arrived. So I would figure Messi should be able to carry Miami like he did today with his hat trick. So Miami, and then it'll be interesting. Cincinnati and Columbus. You know what? Columbus is somebody I would assume, no matter who it was, you don't want to see Columbus in a 2 out of 3.
Well, I'm looking at the matchup between Philadelphia and whoever wins between Orlando and Chicago, because Orlando and Chicago, they could put goals up, and
I think Orlando could beat Philadelphia.
Yeah, because I don't think Philadelphia is going to make it far. I think that they might get busted. But at this point, the way that things have been looking, I mean, I see Chicago coming out of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but for Philly's sake, I would want to see Orlando. And then you have Charlotte and NYCFC. If NYCFC can steal one without Zaha, they have their injury issues. If they could steal one in Charlotte for the first game, then going back to Yankee Stadium for game number 2, where it's been well documented, that's one hell of a home field advantage. That would be interesting, because there's a chance that NYCFC could pull off the upset and go ahead, and they'll be in the semis and playing against Philadelphia, which are their rivals. That'll be cool also. So the East is set. It does start.
And go ahead. You also have the matchup between Inter Miami and Nashville. I mean, they just finished playing today together.
There's a chance that they end up playing 4 weeks in a row.
Yes. And I mean, this is sort of a revenge deal with the Leagues Cup thing. So that's going to be a fun series as well.
Well, Nashville has one hell of a defense. But after today, seeing Miami put 5 on Nashville, 4 in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how Nashville fans and then the players themselves might feel because, like I said, Miami hasn't lost to Nashville since Messi has arrived.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of put it on them today in Nashville, going into today's game, Nashville had only surrendered 12 goals at home the whole season. 12. Yeah. They gave up 5 alone today. And there was one that Luis Suarez and another one that Tadeo Allende both blew. Could have been 6 or 7. So mentally, I think Miami has the advantage. So we'll see how that goes. So let's go back to the Western Conference games.
The West is where it's gotten a little chippy. It's
the Wild West.
Oh, well,
I know goodness. you were watching it closely, so I'll let you run down the West.
Well, I mean, just looking at the games as far as the West is concerned, the one game that was obviously being watched very closely was Vancouver against FC Dallas. I mean, I don't know if I want to save that one for last, but I mean, I'll just jump right into it. FC Dallas ends up winning 2-1. Vancouver gets
got a red card early.
Yeah, very early. I mean, there was times where I think Dallas could have gotten a red card, but that's beside the point. Dallas ends up getting the win. It's actually very useless. Well, not useless because they do end up moving up a little bit. They're actually in the 7th space, and Vancouver drops down, and now San Diego is in 1st place. That game's going to be easy to sort of talk about because they end up basically destroying. Yeah, I mean, they just destroy. And I called them as the top team in the West, but they end up destroying Portland. So they were able to jump Vancouver and take the 1 spot in the West. And I guess talking a little bit about Portland, transitioning to them, they end up dropping down sort of a very Orlando-ish drop where they drop and now they have to play the play-in game. At least they get to host it. They play against Real Salt Lake, and Real Salt Lake's game, they end up tying St. Louis 2-2. Now, they actually could have won the game, but they allowed Klaus to score in the 88th minute and also a penalty they succeeded in the 42nd minute. So they were winning 2-0 before they ended up taking 2 goals that ended up tying up with them and sort of kind of keeping them, if not dropping them down to the 9th seed. I don't remember what seed they were in.
Remember that the last show we did about Decision Day where we said that San Jose needed a bunch of things to happen plus a win to get in?
Yes.
They had almost everything happen.
Absolutely.
And the one thing that they didn't, they needed Salt Lake to lose. They ended up getting that draw. But they almost snuck in. San Jose, well, that's got to be disappointing, right? Some people had them pegged as a for sure playoff team with Bruce Arena and everybody. Yes. And they end up missing the playoffs overall, which was, I think, surprising for anybody that would have talked to in the beginning of the season.
Well, speaking of San Jose, they end up winning. And, I mean, it just doesn't pan out for them, so it doesn't matter. They win 2-1 against Austin. So San Jose gets dropped out, and Austin ends up sticking to the 6th spot in the Western Conference. So they'll be playing up against LAFC, who I guess I'll talk about that game. LAFC.
And Colorado blew it because they were in the playoffs if they win this game.
That was actually my favorite game to watch because LAFC, they scored the first goal. Sun scored the first goal. And then you had Colorado who that
was Sun's 9th goal in 9 games.
That's crazy.
I just want to make sure I put that out there because Sun came in and he's been balling since he arrived.
Yeah, but people wanted Bawanga to be the MVP or like I mean, what are we doing? This is all crazy talk. So we end up getting 2 goals by Colorado. One was a gimme by Lloris. He ends up giving up a goal right in front of goal. And then on top of that, Colorado gets a second goal. You think that they have it. 87th minute, they scored that goal, leading 2-1. And then 3 minutes later, they succeed a goal to LAFC, tying the game and
knocking them out of the
literally
playoffs.
knocking them completely out. They had the playoffs in their grasp for maybe 7-8 minutes. I know, for 3 minutes. After that, completely done.
Well, can I give you my most disappointing result today?
Sure.
Minnesota losing to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
The Galaxy, terrible team all year long. Minnesota has a chance to end up at least third place. If they would have ended up in third place, they would have been playing against Austin in the first round, which you feel like, okay, Minnesota could probably beat Austin in the first round.
Yeah.
Because they lost, they dropped down. LAFC jumped them, and now they have a date with Western Conference finalist Seattle. Because they already got one foot in the Western Conference, because that's just what Seattle does. So Minnesota goes from, okay, let's play against Austin, to now, okay, we're gonna lose to Seattle. Like that, and because you couldn't beat the Galaxy, which is, you couldn't even draw with the Galaxy. I think a draw might have saved them.
And I believe if they
would have had to win. They would have had to win.
I believe that they would have had to win instead. And then, I mean, that's just an utter and complete failure. And then you just pass it over to two other failures, which are Sporting KC ends up playing against the Houston Dynamo, Mike Jones in the building.
Yeah, but that game had nothing to do with nothing.
Literally 0-0, two losers just being...
What an appropriate way to end the season.
I mean, that you couldn't be any more of a loser if you support those teams. Sorry.
Wow.
That's
sorry.
Strong.
That's strong. Okay.
Whatever. I mean, at least you guys aren't the wooden spoon people, right? You're just regular.
Somehow you didn't call the wooden spoon people losers, though.
I mean, I didn't, but like they're losers because they just get the wooden spoon and they have Benteke on their team.
At least they ended up with a trophy.
I mean, at least they scored a goal. I mean, they tied like losers, but like they scored a goal.
No.
I mean,
well, all right. So let me pull up the bracket for the Western Conference now. Where you at, bracket? There you are. So this is the full playoff bracket.
Whenever it pops up. I love brackets. Let me tell you, I love brackets.
They have a bracket challenge. I would do it right now, but we don't want to be on here too long just talking about nothing. Maybe we'll do the bracket later this week. But this is the bracket layout. You have Portland and Real Salt Lake in the play-in. Whoever wins plays against San Diego. Then you have Minnesota against Seattle. So, Seattle's already in the Western Conference. Might as well just put them there. And then you have LAFC and Austin. So I feel like LAFC kind of lucked out here that Minnesota ended up pooping, because I'm telling you, and I know I'm going to get flack for this because everybody is on LAFC's ass. If LAFC plays against Seattle, LAFC doesn't make it past the first round. I said what I said. And then Vancouver, Dallas. Vancouver, Dallas is, I feel like it's going to be very lopsided.
I mean, look at that. I mean,
even though Vancouver and Dallas ended up doing with Miami and Nashville, right?
Yes.
Possibly 3-4 weeks in a row. But Vancouver at 11 men, at full strength for 90 minutes, I think Vancouver can beat Dallas. But this gives Dallas some confidence, right?
Yeah, it does. And San Diego, for their first year to be the #1 seed, and literally
very impressive. Shout out to them.
Yeah, just wait to see who wins between Portland and RSL. I think either team they're going to beat. There's no way that they're going to.
I agree. I think that they get knocked out by Seattle in the second round.
Ooh, man. I mean, listen, San Diego's a team. San Diego's a team.
I'm going to get me a Seattle jersey.
I'm going to get a San Diego jersey.
No, I'm all in on Seattle. I love Seattle.
Probably get me a Chris McVeigh jersey.
Oh, give me a Rothrock.
Ooh, nice. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So Decision Day, I think it was everything we wanted it to be. It had its surprises. It had its big moments. Messi ended up with the golden boot. If it wasn't for Luis Suarez and Luis Suarez kind of blowing an opportunity that Messi delivered, he could have tied Carlos Vela's record for 49 goal contributions in a season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Luis Suarez kind of blew it. So he ends up one short of the record with 48 goal contributions for the season. But I think that basically is a shoo-in now for the MVP. So, yeah, man, it was fun. Decision Day was fun. It was exactly what we thought it would be. The best 2 words in sports.
Decision day. And the game what's the game, what's the series that you're looking forward to? Is it that Cincy Columbus?
Hell is real, man. The Hell is real is going to be fun. Hell is real is going to be really fun. So in the Eastern Conference, Hell is real is the one I'm looking forward to the most. I think the one that is the most even is Charlotte NYCFC. So I think Charlotte NYCFC is going to be fun, and Cincinnati Columbus is going to be fun. I think Philadelphia. Well, you know what? I predicted Orlando to be Philadelphia, so I guess I'd be hypocritical to not say that was going to be entertaining also, because that'll be quite the upset if that happens.
I'm going to go with Charlotte NYCFC in the East to be my sort of lookout.
Hell is real, man. Dude, like,
well, I mean, you picked that, so I'm picking another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the Western Conference?
Well, in the Western Conference, what I'm looking forward to seeing, to be perfectly honest, is the Vancouver and Dallas. I don't want to pick that because Dallas got away with a game where Vancouver got a early red. I don't know if the game would have gone the same way if Vancouver had all 11 players on the pitch. I'm actually looking forward to the matchup between Minnesota and Seattle, because Minnesota is a good team. Seattle's like literally guaranteed to do successful things every playoffs. So
look, Minnesota, I'm sorry. Like, I've been saying that I believe in you guys. I predict you guys to finish second in the West just like a month ago. I was like, you know what? And shout out to San Diego for proving me wrong. But I thought that San Diego would fall off, and I thought that LAFC or Minnesota would end up 1 or 2 over them. But after seeing them lose,
they failed you.
No, and then seeing them lose to the Galaxy, forget about it. Seattle is gonna beat Minnesota. No, I don't believe in them anymore. So I think Seattle takes it. I think Seattle. Seattle's already in the. Seattle's gonna be in the final.
Yeah.
Western Conference.
That's
final.
strong.
Western Conference final.
So then, what's the series that you're looking forward to then in the West?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like the West is so top heavy.
The West is so
top heavy.
Soccer Daddy saying in the chat, LAFC versus Austin. Austin beat LAFC 2 times this season.
But was that before the arrival of Sun? Because LAFC has been a completely different team since Sun arrived.
Hold on, I gotta see that. Because that is interesting.
And Calorex is saying, I think LAFC is the only team that can stop Seattle like they did in 2023. Yeah, but you know what happened in 2024? Seattle eliminated LAFC. So I don't. Nobody wants to see Seattle in the playoffs. Nobody wants to see the Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
So Austin beat LAFC just recently, but this was during international duty, so there was no Sun, there was no Bawanga, and that was
like a week or 2 ago.
That was a week ago.
Yeah,
and then the last time they played them before that. And we're looking at LAFC versus Austin. I'm looking back here, and the Austin won 1-0 March 15th, and Bawanga was starting. So they did have their normal starting lineup, but this was obviously before Sun hit the streets.
No, Sun's killing it. And if you're watching and you want a Believe shirt because you believe that your team is going to do well in the playoffs, batteredfans.com has a Believe shirt for every single team. So check that out if you like. And 15% off if you use promo code playoffs for the next week. Chris, Decision Day was awesome. Playoffs are upon us. They start on Wednesday with the wild card games. Any final words?
No, man. It was exciting, and it's gonna be even more exciting now that we got playoffs around here. Like I said like I did in the intro, playoff trees. I love playoff trees. I love brackets. I love playoff trees. I love all that stuff. This is amazing.
Omar said that Atlanta will announce they have fired Ronnie tomorrow. I don't doubt it. I haven't seen a team underperform this bad in a very long time. And I understand that the Galaxy, what they did was pretty bad, but like even though it's an overrated excuse, like one player shouldn't be that big a difference, it's still some type of excuse. Atlanta had no excuse. Like, it was just wild. So Ronnie Dallas should be out. He's supposed to have, like, his quote was, I'd rather lose 5-4 than win 1-0 or some shit. Yeah. He's a madman. Like, he wants to score goals, and they were just terrible. Like, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
But, Atlanta has money. I'm sure that they're going to re-up and bring somebody of worthwhile. So I don't think that they'll be down too long.
Yeah, they'll get a guy.
All right. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment. If you're watching on YouTube, please like if you haven't already. It helps us a bunch. Please subscribe. We are in the playoffs, so you'll be seeing a lot more of us. It's playoff time. We love the playoffs. We love brackets. And we love to talk MLS. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And for those of you in the chat live right now, if you haven't, please, half a second, just like the video. Helps us a ton. If you haven't already, subscribe. And shout out to Soccer Daddy. I love the energy. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be back talking wild card maybe Monday. So until the next one, have a good one.